Alrighty guys, so we're going to give you a quick race update and what I think of Knoxville Dragway. But going into tomorrow, so tomorrow at 7 a.m. is Sundays tomorrow. I have a bike coming up for a quick touch-up tune, a little adjustment, and then he's out the door and I got to jump on Will Huff's. I still need to, I almost forgot to put the plug in where there is a hole in the undertail. So it had worn through and I did not like the piece they have in there, so I have to redo that. But then I have to go do the street tune and it should be ready to rock and roll. But the schedule update still applies. Lord, my nose itches. I just got out of the car. I've been driving for a hot minute, 5.5 hours. Anyway, Knoxville Dragway. I showed up. We went out. Joe Lindsay's bike, the one I just put on a max, we got him going down the track, reacting good on the tree. We put a 6.0 tune-up in it. I pulled, I think I pulled 12 degrees of timing to start with on the hit, and then ramped it back over 2.5 seconds. That was not enough. So it was running 569, 570 on motor. It went 572. I was trying to run 6.0. I thought I was being aggressive. I wasn't. So I dropped the shift points 1,000 RPM, and I pulled 17 degrees of timing. No, 19 degrees of timing. He went up there, went 6.05. Okay, we're in the ballpark. Next round, he went up and he ran 6.00. So 000, 6.000 seconds. I don't know what the last number was. Tickets don't go that far, but it was good enough for him to win. The next round he went up, he had a red light, but he did run a 6.01, which would have been a dub. The other rider broke out. But first is worse. He red lit. First loss. Anyway, Knoxville Dragway. Knoxville Dragway, I'm not making that trip again. So the prep there is perfectly on par for Grandpa with his 69 Camaro with a stock 327 in it and a 35-inch wide super slick tire on the back, because that's the crowd they cater to, right? That track is for your average 90-year-old man with his old school small block putting down 105 horsepower running 1450s in the 8th at 60 mile an hour. It is not catered, however, to anything trying to go fast. Their prep is very slick. The rubber is very thick. I went out and I pushed a pin in the middle of the track, and the rubber at mid-track was more than a 1/4 inch thick. That track needed scraped about 4 years ago. It's not radial quality prep. Plus, it's an 1/8 mile up, and I paced it out. It is way less than an 1/8 mile shutdown. So you have 1/8 mile to accelerate up to your top speed, and it's about 30 yards short of an 1/8 mile to shut down before you go into a crick. But before you hit the crick, you're going to hit 274 gallon drums full of water, and you're going to die. So there's that. It's got a ripping turn. There was reports from locals that cars generally go around that curve at the end of the track on 2 wheels, so it makes me nervous. Right lane is a shredder rail leading to a solid concrete brick wall, so if you manage to hit the shredder rail, you're going to hit a brick wall with no forgiveness. Left lane is shredder rails all the way down, and they are shredder rails. They've been hit, they've been shredded up, they're going to chew you to death. We did have a bike hit the wall, not a good situation. ET, so it was mixed reviews. I'm not sure if the timing's accurate or not. So the bikes I was running varied. Joe's bike was dead on the dial. Nichols' bike was a 10th slow. There was a couple other people who came by and said their bikes were a 10th slow. I don't think, in my opinion, that was a track issue, because I had too many other people that were dead on dial on the same tune-ups. I think those bikes that were slow were dramatically affected by the fact that it was hotter than sin and thicker than pea soup like it is in here right now. It is still 80-something degrees in this shop, like 90% humidity, and the AC's running, the one I have. I got to put the portable back in. The portable was in the trailer with us all weekend. So we got through that. Anyway, Friday night, we showed up. Nichols was in Street ET, 560 and 6.0. And we made a couple test hits, and then the first hour of runs, right? We made test hit, Street ET, 6.0, 6.0 again, because SDVA paired us with the wrong bike. They claim we didn't. The person standing in the lanes who read the list said he did. So, I don't know. But in any case, it didn't hurt. We got the win on both. No harm, no foul. Bike never overheated, didn't put any unnecessary wear on it. We were doing pushbacks at that point. And then we went into 560 and made our pass and went around in that. So in that first hour, we made 5 passes. Turned around, came back half an hour later, made 3 passes. Half an hour after that, about 45 minutes after that, we got KO'd in one of the classes. In any case, we went some rounds, but we didn't make any notable positions. There were huge classes. Today was one of those days. We went out there, first round qualifying 6-0 was 598. Second round was a 598 with a 7, I think. It was dead nut on dial. Or no, 599 with a 7 or something. It was 599 with a 7. It was a dead nut dial. Like, no question. Dead nut dial. Anyway, first round, Nichols underestimated his speed and shaved too much. So he was trying to shave that .003 that we were off. You can't shave .003. You gotta drink a can of Coke before you make the pass. So winging it was a bad decision. It happens. It's racing. The next round was 560, and he obliterated the tire the entire length of the track. Pulling logs all weekend. 6.0, 560, all of them. And this is where I think Nichols was losing his ET. Well, a lot of it. We did find some power on the table, but I think he lost a lot of his ET to spinning. So each gear shift, you would see the sawtooth, the shift, a haze, a drop, the sawtooth, a shift, the haze, a drop. And if I didn't know any better, and we were on a good track, I'd say his clutch was slipping. I know better. I logged clutch slip. So the clutch was not slipping, it was tire slip. The output shaft speed matched the input shaft speed in those gears per the ratios. So it was just tire spin. He was hazing it the entire length of the track because he came back complaining about some sort of death wobble or something at mid-track. It wasn't a death wobble, it was tail whip. So the back end was floating because it wasn't hooking. In every gear, we had about a quarter to a half a second of tire spin. So that's a bunch of ET lost right there. Joe Lindsay did quite well in all his classes. His bike's pretty dang well dialed. It's pretty on point. I'm very, very happy with it. Hopefully he is as well. Now he needs to go out and get some seat time, get used to it, and not mess with anything, and just see if he can get consistent and repeatable on it. The ETs are dead nut repeatable every time. Every time repeatable. The reaction time is what he's got to get used to because now it's changed up a little bit. How the bike responds to him has changed. But he'll get used to that, get comfortable with it, and it'll be more consistent than it ever was. I think that's all I really got going. The one thing I will say about Knoxville Dragway, I do not appreciate the staff of that track. They are rather rude. So I went down to push Nichols back, got yelled at by the little baby boy running the ticket booth, told not to go past the fence to go get my rider, and my rider was forced to push his bike 100 yards back to the ticket booth before I could pick him up with a scooter. Also, Nunu, Nichols' son, was yelled at by several people and told to get off of his scooter. He was too young. It had nothing to do with him being too young. It had to do with the fact the scooter was loud. So I intentionally rode the living daylights out of that scooter as loud as I could all weekend because there was 4, 5, and 6-year-old kids running around on scooters. The track policy says you got to be 15. That's the excuse they gave for him having to get off, and they didn't want to enforce it on anyone else. So if anyone's ever at Knoxville Dragway and they see anyone's kids on a scooter, bring it up to the track, see what they say. I bet they don't say a damn thing to their locals. But one loud scooter, and they're on it like a freaking fly on shit. But it didn't matter anyway, because I fit that scooter and I can ride it all I want. It's louder than sin, and I'm going to make it louder than sin all the way up to 1 minute before quiet hour. Anyway, y'all, I got to get going. I got to get a shit shower and shave. It is 10 o'clock at night, and I got to be back here at 7. Later, y'all.